Hey guys, it's been a little while, but I'm going to try to get through the last part of these interview questions, even though I really just don't remember what answers I gave, and you're not allowed to tell me. I'm going to try to come up with a good answer, even if it's not the same one I gave before. It's starting to look like the original interview is not ever going to see print, and that's fine. That's why I'm putting it on video. But well, I'll let you can just start whatever, and like usual, I'm just gonna practice this stupid shot here. If it go ahead.
What moment in your pool career are you most proud of?
I do remember this question, and I don't think I gave it a proper answer. I think the answer I gave it was more recent. Back in the 1980s, when I was staged in Omaha, a group of us would go every year to a little town in Iowa called Greenfield, Iowa. It was I don't want to say it was like an hour east of Omaha, something like that. It wasn't a ridiculous drive, but it wasn't next door. We went there because they had a really unique tournament. It was a team 8-ball tournament with like 4 or 5 different bars there in Greenfield. They were all like within walking distance of each other. So you might play one match in bar A, and then for your next round you're in another bar, and then maybe you're back to the first bar, and then another. It was interesting. There was no bar in Greenfield that was big enough for the whole tournament, but combine all those bars together, and it was kind of cool. One of the years, I think it was the second or third year that we went there, I played a guy from Omaha, and this guy was a little bit past his prime, but still an absolute monster player, and everybody in Omaha knew him and knew his name. And I beat him. I actually beat him 3-0. And I remember they used walkie-talkies to call in the results of the matches. And I remember distinctly the guy there at the bar where I was at. He says, "Hey, some guy just beat Joe Blow, not his real name, 3-0." And then you hear the static from walkie-talkies, and then you hear the response come in. "Somebody just beat Joe Blow 3-0." Yeah, and that was me. I did that, and I was pretty proud of that because, like everybody else in attendance, I didn't think it was possible for me to win. Certainly not win 3-0. And a couple years later, we're in APA regionals in Omaha, APA singles regionals, and I think this was, it was the round before the final round where you get to go to St. Louis and draw the same guy again. And I had his number. I beat him that time too, like 7-5 or something like that. I didn't kill him, but I won again. And that might be my proudest moment. Was that the first time? It was a short race. I almost kind of felt like I got lucky because he wasn't taking me seriously because nobody had ever heard of me, that type of deal. But here, 2 or 3 years later, everybody had heard of me. I was one of the top league players in Omaha. And he did take me seriously. And I won that match. That might be my proudest moment in playing pool. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm making this question up. What moment in your pool career are you least proud of?
Oh, I see how you are. Sneaky. Oh, boy, I have to think about that one because I think I just want to say that, well, there haven't been a lot, okay? There haven't been a lot. I'm not a big regret guy. I'm not a big doing stuff I'm not particularly proud of guy. I guess it would be the times when I wasn't particularly nice. And these are probably times when I was young again. I was a lot more brash and stuff like that when I was young, a little lippy and things like that. Um, Gosh, I'm just trying to think of an example. Um, I do remember a time where we're playing some ring game in our little bar. No, we weren't even playing a ring game. This was again the Omaha days when I was still young. Oh, I'm playing like a 3 or something. I'm a 7. I'm playing like a 3 in league, and my opponent's getting ready to shoot the wrong suit of balls. We're playing 8 ball, and here's somebody in the crowd holler out, you know, "Hey, you're solids!" And they're not. You're not allowed to do that. At least you weren't back then. And just reflexively, I turned to the guy and I said, "Shut the f up," and said his name. I mean, I said it loud too. And if any of you know like who Danny Trejo is, the actor, this guy made Danny Trejo look like Mary Poppins. And I think everybody in the place assumed that this guy was going to come over and hit me like twice and kill me, drive me into the ground. He did not, and we were friends already, and we remained friends. But I shouldn't have mouthed off like that. It was a reflexive thing. I shouldn't have done it. Now, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That I'm just not particularly proud of the way I handled those certain situations. I think they were almost all like spur of the moment things, emotional outbursts type of things. Maybe a couple of times I've sulked instead of picking myself up and focusing on the rest of the match or whatever. Luckily, I do believe I've grown out of most of those situations for the most part. Okay, go ahead.
How has playing pool impacted your personal life and relationships?
This question seems a lot like the one from the last one. Like, okay, what did I miss out on from playing pool and things like that? I don't know because I didn't. I mean, I never, that I can think of, said like, hell with my family, I got to shoot pool tonight or anything like that. And certainly it's impacted my life and my relationships because there are times where I was playing pool when maybe I would have been off doing something else. I guess, for example, if I'm playing pool at the pool hall, I'm not at the club trying to pick up chicks, girls, young women, young ladies, whatever. I'm not doing that. Maybe I missed out on something fantastic at that point. And I don't know. I'm sure there was certainly an impact, but maybe it wasn't even, maybe it was a good impact. Maybe because I was at the bar, at the pool hall playing pool, I wasn't over at this other place getting in a fight with somebody, for example. So it's almost certainly impact, but I don't know what they were because I wasn't there. I would be shooting pool instead. Okay, go ahead.
What do you enjoy most about playing pool?
I think the thing I like about it the most, there are a lot of things that I love about pool, obviously. But the fact that when I'm playing, it's, like me against the table. Now, that's one of the cliches that you hear all the time. But I'm up here and I'm playing, and if I had an opponent right now, he would be, hopefully being politely off to the side, in the background. I'm just up here just me against the table. And I can do that, and then when I miss and sit down, then my opponent gets to do it. I get to just watch and relax and things like that. Then when we're done, hopefully, we're still friends and we can talk. We can talk about the match that just happened, talk about life in general, good shot, all just also it's a nice social activity, but it's not nonstop, being social, being social, being social. Because when I'm up here playing, it's not expected that I'm constantly turning around and laughing at my opponent's jokes and things like that. I can be up here and hopefully focus, and then when I'm done shooting, I can relax. And when me and my opponent are both done shooting, then we can socialize. Kind of at a reasonable pace. A reasonable pace for me. One of the many, many things I enjoy about it, I like the fact that it's an activity that, in theory, I'm never going to stop learning. The improvement might not be as fast now as it used to be, but it's still there. It's still happening. I guess I like the fact that it keeps me a little bit physically active too. All right, go ahead.
How do you handle the pressure of competitive play?
I usually do a pretty good job of always just trying to enjoy myself and have fun and keep reminding myself that it is a learning experience. Any type of competitive situation is still those things. Fun and learning experience, the social stuff that I was talking about, all those things. It's not just about winning and losing, winning or losing. Sometimes it can get to that point. And I have to watch out for things like that. I have to watch out, like if I get into the finals of a tournament or something, I probably don't want to lose that final match. And at some point, man, I had a really hard time seeing balls baked to my left than I was to my right. Having a hard time seeing or separating the competition, the pressure in those situations. If I was playing a match for a lot of money that I absolutely could not afford to lose. Well, first of all, I've hardly ever been in that situation. If I got in that situation, then it becomes more about the pressure to win, or I guess technically the pressure to not lose, than those good things I was talking about. I feel like I do a pretty good job of trying to focus on the positives when I play. I'm not perfect at it, and I don't know too many people that are perfect at anything. Can you tell what shot I have to work on here? I think this one is going to be my new pet shot for the week. But you go ahead. As long as I'm missing you, just keep going.
What is your favorite trick shot or technique, and how did you learn it?
I do remember this question. I didn't like it because I don't have like a favorite trick shot. I think trick shots are kind of silly. I did a video about them. I think they're kind of silly, except as like learning tools. You can learn that this 4 is going to kiss off the 11 and go down there. Doesn't mean it's a trick shot. But I think the one that I gave, the answer I gave, and it wasn't even a super great answer, is because the question is trick shot or technique. I think probably the best pool technique that I learned that maybe a little bit non-mainstream. The mainstream stuff is don't grip too tight. Have a solid stance. That's like the mainstream stuff. Would be backhand English. And it's still, an awful lot of people use backhand English, even if they don't realize it. But I think that's probably like the big thing for me. I never heard of backhand English until it was around the turn of the century, actually. And the only reason I know that because I was in this house when I learned it. But I'd already been doing it. I've been doing it for years. because I saw it was probably on some Acostats video or something. And I said, well, that looks not like what I've been doing. And I went to the table and shot some shots with English and such. And said, well, yeah, by God, it is what I've been doing. I just didn't have a name for it. And now all of a sudden I did have a name for it. I'm trying to think if there's like any other like technique that I could even come close to considering my favorite. Probably not. Probably the backhand English.
And that's the last of the questions. Good job.
Oh, okay, so that was it, and that's the end of all this interview stuff. And I hope some people got something out of it. If they didn't, at least I got it recorded for posterity, for the most part, anyway. And so, as always, so thank you, and thank you guys for watching. Those of you that are still awake, I appreciate it. And there's my remote. Bye, guys.